Good evening. It's 7 o'clock in the Eastern Caribbean, 6 o'clock in Jamaica, and 5 p.m. in Belize. Welcome to this Facebook Live edition of Let's Talk Access, a social media program produced and presented by the UWI Open Campus. I am your host, Cleveland Sam. Thank you for joining us wherever you are this evening on the World Wide Web. So this evening, we are going to be speaking to two recent graduates of the UWI Open Campus, and they represent two Open Campus countries, and you will hear their stories about their experiences of studying with the Open Campus. And my guests are this evening, Faith Campbell, and she is from Jamaica via Barbados. Faith, good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to Let's Talk Access.
Thank you.
All right, lovely to have you. And our gentleman this evening is Mr. Michel Leo, and he is from the Helen of the West, St. Lucia. Welcome, Michel.
Hi, hello, thank you for having me.
All right, how are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you.
All right. So you guys recently graduated from the UWI Open Campus. How did it feel when you heard your name called and your photo splash on that screen? Oh, there you go. I can see Michel already. Tell us, what was the feeling like?
Honestly, it was a joy. After these 2 years, for me to see my name coming up through the email saying congratulations, that was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, and I was very thankful to God for that. So it was a joy for me to actually graduate from the school. I was very happy.
All right, Faith.
For me personally, I understand Michel's feelings. It was the same. I mean, at first, when you received the completion letter, it was like it took a while to set in, because you know that when you begin, you're saying that I cannot wait until graduation, but then somewhere along the line you got caught up, and then when you actually receive the completion letter, it takes like it didn't set in until actually when I was sitting and watching the graduation. I actually saw my name and was like, oh wow, I'm finished. It was like yeah, it was like it required some digestion, like, oh yes, I am finished.
All right. Go ahead, Michel.
Well, I was saying, for me, setting one time, it didn't take a long time for me to notice I was actually graduated.
Just
so
bam.
Bam, one time.
So how did you guys do this? Because it's our second virtual graduation. How did you actually experience the graduation? Were you with family? How did you experience this?
Well, for me, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, so I actually looked at it when the rebroadcaster. So I didn't look at the live. I had to wait for the other version. But I mean, it was a nice experience. It was different, for sure. It was different. Different story. I wanted to probably travel to attend graduation physically, but with my parents. But then already COVID-19.
Yeah, that has changed everything.
But it was a good experience. It wasn't the best. I would have loved to be there physically.
Right, in person, eh?
It was nice. The ceremony was good.
All right, Faith, how did you experience it? Were you with your family and friends?
Well, for me, my parents, they're they're Adventists, so they would be in church. And I'm not with my family right now, so it was like a virtual watching of a virtual graduation, because we were we were on Zoom.
Right.
And then what happened is that I would have watched the initial ceremony, the one on the Saturday.
Right.
With my friends, and it was still virtual because I was alone. So I had like made contact with other persons that I would have known, other open campus students. So that was it. And then I know that Anguilla had a a gathering, and
Yes.
yeah, and I have a lot of friends in Angola. So when my name appeared on the screen, they did like a movie clip, and they
Right.
sent it to me, and a lot of persons were cheering. And I mean, it was not what you would have imagined. I mean, like an essential part of the university or any educational journey is the graduation ceremony. And then with this COVID thing, it kind of, cause I mean, like as soon as you hit the last semester, you start planning like destination graduation. You're gonna want to meet friends, you're going to do this, you're gonna take off time away from work and all
Right.
of that. And then like when you see the email like please note graduation will be virtual this year, it's like, okay, what
And
happened? Yeah, I was like, last year they would have pushed back graduation to this year to, I guess, in an attempt to see if the tide would shift or
Change,
whatever.
yes.
But that didn't happen. So I'm like, how come we were not afforded the same courtesy? Just to like push it back to 2022, um, early 2022, not to rain on that graduating planning
Parade.
parade. But I mean, like they push it back and test it and see what's happening, or get to some sort of agreement where you have the sites host a little gathering, and
Right.
people like literally just when you name call, you just get to walk across a makeshift stage or something. So I mean, it
Okay.
was it was different, but you know what, I was a superstar for like 3 seconds, so I'll take it.
There you go. You had your 3 seconds of fame
Yeah,
all over the World Wide Web on UWI TV and so on and so forth. There you go.
sure.
All right, great. So that was graduation. So tell me, guys, let us hear, what did you actually study at the Open Campus?
well, for me, I studied management marketing.
Management and marketing.
Yes.
Okay, great.
For me, I studied social work. Full disclosure, I at the beginning, I really wasn't certain what I wanted to do. So I was course hopping, program hopping in the beginning. And then after a while I realized that, hey, I think I want to do social work because it started to become attractive. And then
Mhm.
I just say, you know what? I'm sticking with social work. So I pursued a BSc in social work.
Okay, great. I just reminded before I go off graduation, Minshal, we have to congratulate Michelle because you won our contest for the graduation photo caption contest.
That's him.
Michelle, congratulations to you. Now, Cherise, can you, oh, there you go. Cherise, can you bring up that awesome photograph with the caption for us so that the world can see what this gentleman presented? Oh, there you go. There you go. Very good. Very good. Very good. I mean, this was a winner, I think, from day one. Before we take down the picture, take us through the process in terms of how you came up with the caption. Because this was really, it was not a photo contest, people. It was a photo caption contest. So the caption needed to capture something really special. Tell us the process, Michelle.
Well, to be honest, I went for my graduation pictures with DHL production. I use DHL production. He's a friend of mine. He has his own production and whatnot. So, we were taking different pose and all that sort of stuff. So I said, let me try something different. So I took one where I was actually looking up in the sky, thanking God. I took one where I was like Superman. And then I figured, you know what? I'll just take one like it's a baby, because honestly, Yui was, I wouldn't say difficult, but it was challenging. It was really challenging. But at the end, I felt like, it was worth it. At the end of it all, after all the sweat, the tears, it was worth it. And that's how when a young lady is pregnant, after she gives birth, or after a woman gives birth, after all the pain she went through, she considered it such a blessing. So for me, that's how I did it. So it was a blessing for me.
Awesome. I mean, the photograph itself is great, but the caption, read the caption to the people.
Years of hard labor, you came out to be just like me. Stubborn, but worth it. It's true.
All
I can
right.
be a little stubborn. I can be a little
Once
stubborn.
again, once again, congratulations. And my colleagues at the site in St. Lucia, they will be arranging your presentation of your prize very soon for you. Okay? All right, great stuff. All right, so let's move on then. Faith, why did you choose the UWI Open Campus to do your studies?
Okay, there were several reasons behind my choice. First of all, I initially I was in Barbados and I was not certain I wanted to stay in Barbados. So I was at the point where I know I had to advance my education. And I was like, if I attend Cave Hill and I need to visit home, I would have to take a semester off or something to that effect. And I was I was on campus one day and I ran into someone from the Open Campus Administrative Office. And I just found myself in the office and I took up one of the brochure, like I did not know this exists. And then it just happened after that. I mean like it's online. So whether I am in Barbados or in the States or in Jamaica, it does not matter. I would be able to, I made sure that I asked all of those questions up front. The day I pick up the pamphlet, I was like, may I ask some questions? And I just roll out all the questions. If I decide to get up and go home tomorrow, will I be able to continue my studies without any interruptions? When it comes to exam, do I have to return to Barbados to do my exams or can I do it? And I'm like, no, as long as you're in one of the territories, all that. I was like, this is so convenient. Like, where has this been all my life? And yes, that was the main thing. And then after that, as soon as I started the courses, I would have met persons from other territories and other walks of life, different classes. And it was like a reality in that the open campus, I know the university is the University of the West Indies, but I would like to go further and say it's the University of the West Indies open campus because students I spoke to, some of them they don't have the fancy traditional jobs. They were market vendors, housekeepers, etc. And they found the UE because unlike the landed campuses where you would have to do like 4 or 5 courses per semester or whatever it is, the open campus offer the flexibility that allowed person to do even one course. And it is that if you have the reality is that most persons are mature learners, and with that comes the responsibility of having to run a household plus children. And if you have children have assignments, so it's like you're in school again and all of that. So the open campus provided that bridge where persons could still like have their regular life going and still at the same time advance themselves education wise. So it was a lot of things, and it was just the ideal ad, and it was perfect.
Wow, that's an awesome testimonial right there. I'm gonna ask my colleague, who you know very well, Charlton Ali, to make sure that he cut that clip and do a promotional video with just that clip alone. All right, Michelle, I mean, that was Faith's story. What's yours in terms of choosing the open campus?
All right, so for me, coming from Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, the open campus is right next to the college. So it wasn't a difficult decision for me to make. So as soon as I graduated from Sir Arthur Lewis, I applied. Well, even before I graduated, I applied to the school, the university. So the reason why I chose the open campus as well is because of the fact that I could have gained a work experience while attending school, because if I had to go to any other school, it might have been difficult for me. So the fact that the campus was in St. Lucia and I could have attended, and I could have worked as well, made it a little easy for me. And also I was able to pay for my own, I could have paid my tuition. So instead of depending on my parents or a family member or probably taking a loan while working, I was able to actually pay for my tuition. So that there was a blessing. That there was a blessing.
Great, great. And when you say you were able to pay, sorry, go ahead, Faith.
I'd like to agree with him. That is also an option for me, because while you know how when you talk to other persons and they tell I have a student loan, and 4 or 5 years after they finish school, they still have this weight on the back having to repay a student loan. It was not the same because of the various payment plan options, as well as you could pay for one course. I mean, you could set your budget around your studies, because you know that okay, the courses cost $5, registration, etc., costs $10, and a total you're looking at $12 for the semester. So you could actually budget around that, and you would have no surprise at the end. So you could pace yourself while you're studying, and you could pace it yourself with your finances accordingly. So that was the biggest plus.
So is it that you guys use the payment plan and so?
Yeah, that was
Yes.
just the payment plan. It was very, very, very.
Yeah, it was good.
Very
helpful.
Yes.
Yes.
The staff was very lenient because it was very helpful.
Great. All right. Well, I mean, I'm so happy to hear you guys say this of your own, because, you know, if as the marketing manager, if I go and tell somebody this, and I say, oh, you work for the university, what else could you say? But here are 2 students who have completed their journey with us, at least at the bachelor's level. I sincerely hope that you have applied to do one of the master's program or one of the postgraduate diploma program.
I've started again. I'm pursuing my postgraduate diploma in health research and epidemiology.
Oh, that's an awesome program, Faith. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, I see my friend from St. Lucia scratching his ears. What are you saying to me, Michelle?
So I'm saying I'm waiting for the scholarship to appear.
I think you should just start and then try to access the Gill grants or the various scholarship opportunities that pop up year round. I think the initially you just have to start, make the first step, like just start.
Yeah, the
step out in faith, and it will materialize.
Definitely, the plan is to start next year. The plan on doing is taking a short course with UWI because they provide a number of them. So we plan on taking a short course meanwhile, and then apply for some like, you know, another degree.
You heard what Faith says, right? Step out in faith. All right, but really good to hear you guys about the payment plan. It really works for a lot of people. And I say this to people all of the time. And Faith, I think, said it perfectly. Just start. And with the payment plan, it becomes so affordable, really affordable with the payment plan. All right. Awesome stuff, guys. So I want to remind persons who are following us, and if you're interested in becoming an open campus student, we do take students in the January semester, and your application deadlines now for undergraduate program is the 15th of December, and for postgraduate studies, it is the 30th of November. So if you're planning to do a postgraduate program, you have approximately 19 days to go. And if you're planning to do an undergraduate, you have until the 15th of December. All right, so, I mean, both of you are no longer teenagers. You are adolescents or adults, really. What career path, professions are you pursuing currently?
Well, for me, I'm trying to focus on marketing, but to specialize in digital marketing.
In what? In digital marketing?
COVID-19 has affected me. So like everything is now being done virtually, and I see businesses, companies, they are all going towards the internet, because the internet has a very big impact. And as COVID affected us recently, it has even become more important for companies for them to survive. So digital marketing is something that I really want to get into. So I recently got a sort of promotion to a different department where I can actually develop my skills towards being a digital marketer. So yeah, so I want to focus on digital marketing. Marketing is my field.
So tell us, where do you work currently and what do you do?
I currently work with Bank of St. Lucia. I currently hold the post of fraudulent officer too. I'll be soon moving to customer support department, because if you're working in the marketing field, you're supposed to have good customer skills. You have to be customer oriented. So you must know how to speak to customers, develop a relationship with them, so they can buy your products or use your services. So moving to customer support department, it will help me with my customer skills. So that's a step. That's a post that I'm looking forward to. Yeah. So right now.
All right, great. So you probably want to take my job sometime down in the future, in the not too distant future. Or Leslie may have something for you at our campus in St. Lucia. Who knows?
Opportunity to work with you all, because I'm honestly looking forward to work with you. The experience was really great, and I have a nice relationship with those at the Open Campus in St. Lucia. So I'm looking forward to that, to be honest.
Okay, great. Yeah, Faith.
Okay. Initially I was in nursing, but I had some health challenges, so I'm no longer in that field. And actually, while I was in it, I saw the need for yeah, I have experience both as a practitioner as well as a patient, and I identified several factors that was lacking. And I decided that if it is that I were supposed to major in social work, I I could affect some sort of change, because my area of interest is research. When you like, if you go on the website, the internet, to do several searches for various studies, you don't there is not like an abundance of studies that were conducted within the Caribbean or focused on the Caribbean and stuff like that. So my decision to continue in health research and epidemiology is to with the hope that I could make a difference where that is concerned, because I understand that we're all humans and all of that, but the West Indian culture is not like any other culture. You have to be in it, and well, you can generalize certain things. Other things you need an in-depth knowledge, and you can only get that through research. And research will help to like implement, just make suggestion for policy development of policies or tweaking existing policies where necessary. So that is my aim.
Great. You sound like you're on your way there, Faith.
Thank you.
You have the background, and you seem to be totally intact with what is it that you want to accomplish. Yes. That's good stuff.
Actually, I have been using my day while I'm not working right now. I have volunteered with the Barbados Association of Professional Social Workers.
Right.
So we conducting assessment with persons affected by the pandemic. And it has been, it is a learning experience, because obviously I just finished. So what little experience I would have as a social worker would have, I got those from the 4 practicum sessions that was mandatory during the course. However, they were actually good. I was like, there were times during the study when I was like, do I really need to do this? Is this really necessary? But no, when you make a call and you to call someone and you hear that the person is depressed, you can hear it in the voice that they're down and out. You can actually like, oh yeah, we did this in school, and you just drop back on the training, and you see yourself like, oh wow, I'm a social worker. It's actually coming out.
So you can relate.
Yes, because the other day I made a call and the person had lost a loved one, and the person was like, initially when she answered before, she was very upset. I'm like, ouch. And I was like, and then after a while, she vented and she went off, and I allowed her. And then she calmed down and like, ma'am, I don't mean anything bad towards it. I appreciate your call, and I have to accept things. And then she went from anger, and then she went to denial. And it was like that, and it came back to the course, that dying and bereavement. It was like, oh wow, the stages of mourning and all of that. It was like literal example in front of, because when you actually read the textbook, I mean, the textbook can provide this description and no more. But when you actually have the
Live it.
experience, yeah,
Yeah.
you realize, you can actually see the course, the material from the course, like
Coming to life.
coming to life. And yeah, it's really good.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, Faith, we need to use you some more to promote this program out there. We're gonna speak a bit about the programs as we go along. But so Michelle, you're gonna move from fraudster, sorry, a fraud inspector to a marketer. That's really good. Tell us your experience with the management and marketing course. What for you was some of the highlights?
For me, it was well, there were many highlights, but to be honest, it was there was a course, international business. Yeah, I think it was international business. There was another course, marketing management. These courses, honestly, for me, is basically what they provide in the text or the units. It's these things you can see they happening every day. So for me, the highlights were that they were actually practical. There were things that were happening, but it helped me get to understand the content that were in the units. Yeah. So the highlights were the fact that whatever notes or the units they provided, it was really practical and very easy to understand. And from time you walk in, you can relate to most of the content that was provided.
Great, great. Well, Faith, you have given us some of your highlights. So you did 4 practicums.
Yes, I did. Two at the psychiatric hospital, one at the community development department, and the other at the National Council on Substance Abuse.
And these were compulsory, of course.
Yes, they were.
Because as a social, so I mean, some people question the efficacy of studying online, but here you were studying with an online university, the best online university in this side of the hemisphere, I may add, but you had to do practical work.
Yes, you had to do, because in social work, you deal with persons, clients on 3 levels. You have the micro level, where it's the one-on-one or the family. Then you have the other level that takes in like larger groups, and then there's the macro level that deals with a lot of units that the community development department would oversee all the communities and the community centers in Barbados and stuff like that. So you'd like, if it is that you are dealing with a family, that would be one-on-one, is a whole different experience as you dealing with a youth group where persons are coming from various classes of society, etc. So the practicum was geared towards that, where you'd experience dealing with persons or issues from all 3 levels, and then it helps you to make a decision as to what area you would like to specialize in. So it was very, the practicum, it's a lot of work, in the sense that you have to actually turn up to these organizations and put in the hours. And it was interesting in the sense that I think everybody fears group work. I think group work is just like the biggest turn off about studying.
I wonder why.
Because you have to deal with the personalities and all of that. So I mean, like when we had when you had group assignments and you had to deal with persons from different territories and the time clash and then the personality and the availability and the drama, all of that. And you was like,
Yes.
is this punishment? Like, I don't see the. I mean, like, honestly, group work is just give me a million individual assignment and no group work and I'm fine. And then you're forced to work in group because then you realize that as a social worker,
Right.
you don't find the solutions for the client. You pull all the resources together and then you sit with the client and you say, well, these are the options that are available, and then you allow the person to choose and you work with that person and steer that person in whatever direction. So you basically linking the person with resources available, and there can be no linking the resources if there is no group work. So
Right.
yes,
So you see the importance of group work. Michelle, that was your experience as well. The importance of group work, a little bit of stress.
It was a little stressful at times, to be honest, because you have different people with different personalities, as Steve said. But I've met some awesome people in group work while
that's
doing.
true.
Honestly, I've met some honest people, and up to like today, I'm friends with them. They were really hardworking. So I mean, yes, there are some people that they slap up a little bit, but you also meet some great, great, great individuals. So I honestly like group work. I'll be honest, I love group work. I love working with other people and I love getting along with other people. So I
Right.
enjoy
And I can see your personality seem to be in sync with that.
Well, the thing about it is that group work is not all bad, because then it translates in the work environment, because
that.
then when you go in the practicum environment and you have these cliques in the office, you have this one set that sits and criticize management, this one set that tell you that the rules are outdated. I mean, you have all the personalities coming together, and then you have to like use diplomacy to like
To
not.
navigate that.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not like you listen because you have an ear, but you might be mindful that you're not adding anything because you don't know who in the group will go back and listen. My grade depend on it, so I am not here to.
My grade depends on this.
Exactly. That is always at the forefront. I go there to learn, I go there to get experience, but I am mindful that my grade is dependent on it. So I'm like, I'm not here to pick sides. I am here if persons are talking, I'm like, okay, that's nice, interesting to know all of that. But that's where it stops, because you have to learn from early that I mean, it's a job and you go there to gain experiences, but you have to keep your eyes on the prize. So that's it. And I have a group from mediation, that was the group mediation, conflict resolution. And that was my best group at UWI. I think that was from the third semester. And we are friends up to this day. The group is still active from the day we were placed in the group. The chat is still active. And every time someone graduates, the person shares the graduation picture. We say congratulations. We have our own WhatsApp celebration. We just use
Nice.
emoji, like I'm bringing the ice, this person bringing the cake, and you just put the
Virtual celebrations.
yeah, and we keep it, and we try to like top, like when one person graduates, the next time another person is graduating, we try to top the emojis from the previous celebration. So we keep it current. And honestly, personally, we have one person that was new, so that person hasn't graduated as yet, and that person's the baby of the group. And we like ever so often you check in, like, how you managing with such a course. I know that that lecture is kind of tough, so heads up, you need to do this, you need to do that, be proactive, focus on theories. So it kind of nurtures everyone, because you experienced it and you know how difficult it was. And if it is that you can lighten
The
make it
load.
easier for the
Yeah.
person that is coming, you share the information, you build everyone, and it has been good. So I mean, group work is stressful, but there are benefits, like a lot of
Definitely
benefits to the
benefits to group work. Definitely. Sorry, Michelle, I was hearing you in the background. You wanted to add something?
To what he said. It's really true. I really appreciate the fact that the students they are really supportive. They are really, really supportive. They help each other out. They provide units if someone is missing something. That's one thing I must commend the students for. They always help each other. That's something that's really nice.
So that's a really good support system, especially for adults who have jobs and families, as you guys said earlier.
Yeah.
All right,
And
so actually,
might I add?
yes,
Sorry,
go
might
ahead,
I add?
Faith.
These groups, they're not basically like centered on the academics. Like someone maybe have a child and that child is ill and like I need a prayer or whatever it is, and yeah, a person will say, all right, we praying for you, or and a day or two after, you're like, how is John feeling? How is the child feeling? And this person will say, like, yeah, it was like a whole family going on inside. You up to date on what's happening inside the person's guys are getting married. I'll say you all pictures, you're all invited. Obviously, you're invited because you can't come. So
you can follow it on Facebook or Zoom.
Yeah, and all of that. But I mean, it goes beyond just the academics. You just network and you form that family. And the thing about it is that there's always say, if you find yourself in my territory, if you find yourself in Belize or St. Lucia or wherever it is, just ring me up or whatever. We have drinks or we go out or whatever it is. And I've seen persons, yes, I've seen persons who like travel and I see them taking pictures of the classmates, and you're like, okay, you're happy for them, but you just kind of wish it was you.
Of course. Well, you guys actually have taken away two of my questions, but that's awesome because I love the conversation and the energy that is flowing between the two of you guys right now. So the whole issue, one of the objectives of the University of the West Indies back in the day was the whole thing of regional integration. And I mean, just from listening to you guys, I can see that that particular objective is definitely being manifested.
Yes. I don't know about Michelle, but for me, I personally ensured that I had the entire university experience. And as such, in 2017, when I had the UE Games I participated in 2 UE Games. So check. I checked that. And I mean, like, you guys have never been to the UE Games. Except you, Dr. Sam, you would have. It's different for the open campus students because we've never met each other apart from persons that maybe belong to the same site.
Country,
you know that person, but it is a different feeling when all the open campus students gather and somebody that you'll be talking to during the class or via the WhatsApp group, you actually meet that person. There is this kind of chemistry that does not exist on the landed campuses. It's just different.
You go, Faith.
Honestly, it's just different. And yeah, open campus may not be winning, like getting all the points there, but we're getting the points where it matters.
There
we're
you
networking, we building, we growing,
and we
together.
Bring the vibes.
And we bring the vibes. We're small, but we let them. We let them know that we're
you're small, but you're Talawa, Faith. Say it. You're Jamaican.
Yeah. So and then apart from participating in the sporting aspect of that, I went to student governance where this is my 3rd year on the guild. I serve as Barbados's chapter chairperson, the regional games committee chairperson, and for this year I am the regional guild treasurer. So I ensure that I dip in it's like a buffet.
A full experience.
Yes, I ensure I experience everything that it has to offer so that when my landed campus counterparts are talking, I can represent open campus to the fullest because you went to the games, been there, done that. Student governance, been there, done that.
Tick. Michelle, let's hear you.
Well, sadly, I didn't have the but for me, I would have loved to take part in the UE Games, especially the football.
Right.
I would have loved to take part in the football and celebrate like Messi would have the best player on the planet. Get that
Don't
out.
worry, we would have cheered for you. Whatever you
But
did,
yeah,
we would have cheered for you.
So why weren't you
yeah,
in
I know that
Jamaica in
for.
2019, Michelle?
Repeat that, please.
Why weren't you in Jamaica in 2019 for the student games?
I wanted to apply, you know, but I think it was clashing with something to do with my
Okay,
work. But you know what? I'm going to do my masters with you, and I'm going to wait on the next game, so I
there
can
you
hear
go.
Faith
We're
shouting.
holding you to that because we do need football players, right, Faith?
We need every athlete.
we
we have an abundance of cheerleaders, and we need athletes now.
Okay, okay, there you go. If Faith says that, then you know it's so because she has been there, she has done it, she has eaten from the buffet, the appetizer, the main course, and lots of dessert, right?
And I've chaired the games committee, so I've done it all.
There you go, there you go. All right, so one of the other important things about online studying is that for most persons, when you come to the open campus, it's the first time you're studying online because you're coming out of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, you're coming out of high school somewhere. How did you cope with studying online?
Go
ahead.
Okay. For me, to be honest, it was at the starting, it was a little bit difficult, but since I'm a little computer savvy, it was, you know, I got the hang of it. But the thing is, the learning exchange, it makes it easy, you know. It makes it quite, it's customer friendly to say, or user friendly.
User friendly.
Yeah.
It's setup is very, very, very easy to navigate and get everything that you need. So it was at the starting, it was just a little difficult, you know, to get the hang of it. But then the way you set up the learning exchange, it's quite simple and very easy to maneuver.
Great.
Okay, for me, I think I'm very fortunate. I think Barbados has the best setup. I'm not no bias or anything. I think Barbados has the best setup. They say administrators, they are very helpful. I was like a stranger to the online learning environment, and I once went to the office and Kumar Hines, he was there. He was working in the office at that time. And I told him that I was not comfortable. I did not know what it was like. And he sat down with me like for 2 hours and we went through. And after that, it was a walk in the park. Like it was the user face. It was very friendly. So help was always available, and the regular sessions held by the program delivery department, a lot of persons ignore those, but they're super helpful, like very helpful. I know it's many persons opt for the online experience because of time, but if it is that persons were able to take just a little time from the busy schedule to like hop into either a live session or the recording, they realize that it's very helpful. You get a lot of nuggets, and you may not use what information you receive at that time 2 days later or whatever, but as the course advances, you see the need for these things, and it's like it's the it took preparation, it took everything into consideration. So you may not use it immediately at the beginning of the course, but as the course advances, the things become helpful, especially with the library, the UWI link and those things. And another plus the open campus is that they try to release tutorials via YouTube or Facebook very regular, so that especially as it relates to registration, because I think that is the toughest challenge. The period around registration, it gets confusing, but there are videos, tutorials that are available either on when you click the link to register, the campus has it in such a way that there is a tutorial there, so you can actually watch it and you can know what is happening. So if you're a visual learner, the information is there. And if you're not visual, you have the reading there as well. So it caters to everyone, to most persons' learning style. So it's not that difficult. So I like that about it.
Yeah, very true.
All right, good stuff. So you found that the learning exchange was very user-friendly. The support from people like Kumar Hines and Althea, I'm sure. Yes, go
Yes,
ahead, Faith.
yes, the learning exchange is very user friendly. The only time it's not user friendly is when you are late with that assignment, and
The portal is closed.
the portal is like, okay, we're not working today. Yeah, it's like, what happened to all the courtesies that were afforded before? I mean, I guess it's the
You are late,
law.
Faith. You are late. So the portal is closed.
No, it's not necessarily late. It's just coming up to the deadline. Like the cutoff time is 11:55, and
Yes.
I don't know. You're testing. You need the adrenaline push. So at 11:53, you're signing in, and the system is like, yeah, it's like what's happening? Yeah, so it's good. I guess those experiences help you to not be in that case, that situation for the next assignment. But I mean, it's like you need that adrenaline rush, so you push it to the limit again, and then you argue with the system. But it is what it is. But it's
It
all a
is what
part
it
of
is.
the
It closes at
experience.
11:55. Minchal, you had any of those experiences rushing to drop it in the box and then it's telling you it's closed?
Years of these experiences. That's how I like getting the work done, to be honest. Sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, and how did you cope with things like your work? Because Michelle, you have a full-time job at Bank of St. Lucia. Faith, you, I know you have your finger in a lot of different pies. How did you cope with all of these other activities along with your studies online?
To be honest, I think that I feel like you're never too old to have what you call a timetable. So,
right.
So at the starting of every semester, I have my timetable, but when I reach like halfway during the semester, I forget about it. But still, I'm just being honest. But yeah, so for me, while working, I have a full-time job. But when it comes to my lunch, I use my lunch. I dedicate my lunch, something to my lunch, for me to actually go over my notes, read, study. And when I used to take vacation, I used to take vacation during the end of the year or close to exam dates so that I will have enough time for me to study. Sometimes people believe, or some people believe that if they work full time and they try and attend school as well online, it will be very challenging for them to do other stuff. Hey, I can tell you all that is not true. If you plan and you organize yourself, you will have enough time to do a lot of things. It's
everything else.
Yeah, it's just proper planning. It's just proper planning. And just to add, what I like about UWI Open Campus, especially down here, I'm not sure how these other places, but down here, there's a computer lab. So I often used to go up in the computer lab. I spend hours there, taking down my notes, studying, and all that sort of stuff. So I must commend UWI on that. Giving students access to the computer lab, yeah, that's very helpful.
All right, so I hear kudos to the site, to Kumar Hines, to the program delivery department and everything for all of those videos that they put out from time to time. Really good stuff. And I want to remind you who are following, who are listening, who are watching, wherever you are in the World Wide Web, that if you want to be like Faith and Michelle, that you have, you can start in January, the Open Campus. We do have 3 times of the year when we take cohorts, and the January intake, we are promoting that right now. The deadline for application, if you want to do an undergraduate program, is the 15th of December, and the deadline for the postgraduate applications is November 30th. So you have 19 days if you want to do a postgraduate program, and we have a range of postgraduate programs. Faith tells you that she's doing one in epidemiology and health research, and we have a number of other programs. Some of them range from 1 year up to 4 years or 5 years if you want to do your doctorate or your master's or postgraduate diploma or certificate. And of course, if you want to do a bachelor's program, your deadline is the 15th of December. Now, we only have 10 minutes, believe it or not. But since I'm speaking about applications, how easy or difficult did you find the actual application process at the beginning of your studies?
As I said, I would have run into the admin person by chance. And I actually, it's kind of funny, my story, in that I applied, but my computer at that time, it was not exactly young. So I really don't know what happened. And I had submitted the application form. And 2 weeks after, I received a call first, and then a follow-up email stating that my application was not clear, and asked if I could make time to go over the application process. Someone would go over the application process with me, and I found that very, like, this is encouraging, because it's at the beginning. We have not established any partnership or any agreement, and the fact that someone wants to take the time to go to walk me through the application process, it was a plus for me. So I naturally, as Misha would have indicated earlier on, there is a computer lab, and the persons at the site office, Miss Collymore, Kimberly Kumar, they were very helpful. So we made plans. I went in an afternoon and I used the computer lab. I completed the application process. And times after that, when I just wanted a break from myself because I was procrastinating too much, I would like call and like, hey, may I use the lab this evening or tomorrow or whenever? And it was always yes. So if it wasn't at the KFL, it was at the Pine site. So, and of course, Wi-Fi is available. So it was there in a learning environment. So you have less distractions and you could actually focus. Another thing was that I had access to the Cave Hill library. All I had to do was just present my ID, my Open Campus ID,
yeah.
right? And I had access. So there were days when I really wanted to just focus, and I would just go to the library, and it was a good study area. Other persons were studying, and you just find yourself in that mood, and the information and the knowledge was just flowing. So there are a lot of pluses. It's just online, but that is all there is to it. And we're online, and now the pandemic is showing everyone that online is the way to go. So we're forerunners.
We are trailblazers. Yeah, Michelle.
So for me, the application process, I had the privilege to actually apply with a friend of mine, Bradley Jeremy. He was very encouraging. So before graduation, well, my stint at South Louis Community College, in the end, we decided that we would go to the University of the West Indies. So we worked on the application together. We went to the open campus because it was next to our school, and they showed us exactly what is needed. Very easy and very simple.
All right. Now, we are only, 7 minutes to go. Believe it or not, we have been talking for almost 1 hour. Can you believe that? And as I said, I just want to remind our viewers and friends of viewers of the application deadline, 30th of November for postgraduate applications, and 15th of December, sorry, for undergraduate applications. Now, would you advise prospective students who are thinking of studying to start studying at the open campus?
Yes, definitely. Definitely, without a doubt. Look at me. I've graduated, and I now have the opportunity for me to get my master's done while I'm still working. So yes, I will definitely encourage people. It's the way to go. UWI has been very helpful, especially with the payment plans. As we mentioned before, they make it very easy, and they're very nice people. So yeah, I would encourage your friend to study with UWI Open Campus.
Okay, thank you. Faith?
Okay, I would like to think that I am living proof because I completed a BSc. I partake of everything that was available. I graduated with a 4.21 GPA. I went back because I mean once you get involved with the open campus, it takes a special thing to pull you away from that because you realize that I mean, like when you watch a commercial, you're like, yeah, that is an ad. They can say anything to sell the product to you. But I watched the commercial, I partook, and I realized that it was the real thing. And I would definitely encourage everyone to study with the open campus, as Misha indicated that the convenience of the payment plan, you have guild grants. So persons, guild grants are available to all students. You just apply. You have chapter grants as well, like persons like, especially during the pandemic when persons were having difficulties, we had reallocated some funds that was for something else, and we ensured that person, if you had an outstanding bill or you were at a balance on your account, the guild tried to clear up those. You had the other day when we had the storm here in Barbados, we had a student that was affected, and I was able to like message in the chat and say, hey guys, one of our students, she was affected. And I was surprised that the response persons was like, I'm at the supermarket, tell her to send the list. This other person was like, I could take care of next week's list. The other person was like, is she in need of things for the kids? And it was like, persons were like, I have a charger or a generator, I could assist with. It was like out of this world. I mean, like, I don't know what happened at the other
support.
but for sure, I know the support is available at the open campus. And take it from me, I am proof that it exists. It's not just an ad, it's reality. So I would recommend open campus to everyone.
Definitely.
All right. I want to thank you guys so much. I mean, for taking this hour with us here this evening on Let's Talk Access and really talking about your experience. I mean, it was really an inspiration for me. And I hope for those of you watching that this was indeed an inspiration for you and would motivate you to go on to that website, www.apply.open.uwi.edu, and submit your application for January 2022. So Faith and Michelle, I want to thank you once more. I want to thank you for viewing. And on behalf of the UWI Open Campus, I want to wish you guys, Faith and Michelle, continued success in all of your endeavors. Faith has already started her postgraduate work. Michelle, we are looking out for your application come January. You still have 19 days to apply, okay? And yeah, so on behalf of the Open Campus, I want to thank you guys and thank all of the viewers. For those persons who have sent me WhatsApp messages and your comments on Facebook and YouTube, really appreciate those. Keep them coming. Again, thanks to Patrick Johnson, Richard Bath, Cherise Glasgow for handling all of the technical matters in the background and dealing with the queries and questions. Until next time, I am Cleveland Sam. Goodbye.